Alrighty guys, welcome back to my deck build series, and this is actually part 2. In the first one we demolished an old deck, and in this part we're going to actually build the deck frame, which I'm very excited about. However, everything that could go wrong went wrong. We hit a gas line, someone fell, and we ran out of materials. However, the end result was worth it all. So let me show you how we did it. So to kick this project off, I'll be putting down some landscape fabric under the entire area where the deck would go. And I'm using some guarding staples to kind of keep this down to the ground because if you don't, the wind is going to get them and they're going to go all over the place. And obviously then, you know, if you had the deck down, it'll be fine. But until we get to that point, we're going to need these to keep these down. And the reason why I'm using landscape fabric underneath the deck is because I don't want any weeds or stuff like that to grow under my deck or through the deck, because that would be unsightly. That wouldn't look good. So that's the reason why I'm using landscape fabric, and I definitely recommend it for your build as well. Okay, just let me explain. I know you're probably wondering, like, what the heck? What happened? When did you change clothes? Right? I know you're wondering about my clothes, right? No? Oh, the porch. Okay, so let me explain. We're not only building a deck, we're also building a porch that leads from the back of the house down to the deck. So instead of building the deck first, we decided to build the porch first. That's why there's a porch there all of a sudden. But instead of like bogging you down with how to build a deck frame and a porch frame, I decided to split them up in 2 separate videos. So the porch frame will be coming soon. So be on the lookout for that. So these batter board stake thingies that I'm using here are very important because they're going to help me to make sure that this deck is square. First, you get all the stakes into the ground and then connect them all using a string. And then the beauty about it is that you're able to move these strings around, to get that perfect square. And how you check for a perfect square is by running your measuring tape from one corner all the way to the opposite corner. And then say it's 50 inches or 50 feet or whatnot. Not 50 feet, that's ridiculous. 50 inches, you go to your other corner and then run it to measure that opposite corner, and then it should be measuring 50 as well. If it's not measuring 50, you're just going to have to shuffle the strings around until you get your perfect square on both measurements. So now that we have the corners marked out and we know where exactly our corners need to be for this deck to be square, now we can move on to building the outside frame. So the width of our deck is 24 feet and the other side is 21 or 22 feet. So, we had to join 2 pieces of wood together to form a complete side. Now this part was a pain, man. I wish they sold like 24 feet wood, all in one, 2x6s, 24 feet. That would have been great, but maybe they do. We just didn't find them. We couldn't find them here, so we had to opt for some 12-foot boards and make it work. And as a disclaimer, all the wood you're going to see me use are pine, but treated pine, rated for like outdoor usage. So, and I definitely recommend it for you if you're working on an outdoor project, except if you're using cedar or something. And by the way, all the pricing and everything will be broken down at the end of the video so you can see how much this total process costs. And this is just part 2 of a 3-part series. This is going to be the framing. This is the framing video. And the next will be the actual decking video. So make sure you stick around for that one and check it out. throughout this build, you guys will notice that I'm using tough blocks. That's what the frame really sits on, and that's all it needs. I know you're probably going to be a little skeptical about it, but this thing is really strong, and I'll touch more on that later on. Right now, I'm just focused on getting all the parts for the exterior of the frame put in, and check for square and make sure they're all aligned so I can start putting in the actual joists. And as you go along working on this project, make sure that you are checking for level, because I made some mistakes when I was building the frame for the porch. So I made sure not to make those mistakes over here, and make sure I'm checking for level as I go along. So make sure you do that. Now the blade on my circular saw needed to be changed because I had a high count blade tooth on there. So to cut these edges off, I used the track saw, and I think I'm in love. And right here, I forgot to turn the camera so you guys can see me putting that middle piece in. But you can clearly see me off to the side there. Yeah, I'm not a great YouTuber, but hey, at least I caught something. So now that our outer frame is all completely done and taken care of, it's leveled, and it's completely squared, now we can move on to the next task, which would be the filling in those joists on the inner part of the deck. Now what you'll notice is that there is a bunch of like dips, hills and valleys in underground. It's definitely not level. So my original plan to tackle that was to use some paver sand underneath my tough blocks, just to kind of help it raise up to make sure that that middle joist is not like hanging and it's level. But that was, it's not a terrible idea. It's just that I would need a lot of paver sand to actually bring this up to level. So what I decided to do was cut some 4x4s down to the appropriate height that I needed, and use that to kind of make sure that the middle joist is firm and perfectly leveled. Now I know what you're gonna say. Why didn't you notch it out? Because we didn't need to notch it out in this case, because as you'll see, I didn't count them, but I know I used at least 50 of those 4x4s, and I lost count of tough blocks. We went overkill on the tough blocks just because I want to make sure this thing is like extremely secure. Then I just continued to do the entire thing, making sure that each tough block is 16 inches on center. I had already measured and marked these off camera. So just make sure you do that when it comes onto yours. That's pretty much code everywhere in the world. Now that we're through adding all the tough blocks to the center joist, it's now time to add all the additional joists in. And we're going to start with the right side on this one. And just as a precaution, I started to cut down a few of these and test them out just to make sure, the size is correct. And, I don't end up cutting a bunch of these either too short or too long or whatnot. So I just tested a few of them, see if they work, and then just went to town on the other ones. And now that we have all the joists cut for the other side, and now I'm basically dry fitting them and holding them into place with a screw on each end, now I can move on to the other side. And I know you're probably wondering, where are my joist hangers? Don't worry, they are going to be installed. Our local Lowe's ran out of them, so we had to order them and kind of wait on them, and they took a hot minute to get to us. So I decided to not just let that hold up the project. I just went ahead and put everything together, and then once we got them in, I went ahead and added them. And for those of you who don't know what a joist hanger is, this is it right here. All right, since I'm through joining these boards, I'm now going to install them on the right side of the deck. But while I do so, let me tell you more about Tough Blocks. And I know I'm not sponsored. This is just my personal opinion. When I first saw this on YouTube, I saw a bunch of builders using them, and they're going on about how strong it is and whatnot. When I went to Lowe's and picked up one of these things, it weighed 0.5 pounds, if that makes, like, if you can get the reference, it literally weighs nothing. So how is this thing going to hold up, a 500 plus square feet deck? How is it going to do it? But like I said, I watched a ton of videos, and this thing is proven to be like really, really good. Instead of getting those cement, old school type tough blocks, I'm not even sure what they're called, like concrete footings or something. Instead of getting those, I opted to get these because my back is not what it used to be. So I could not see myself just, carrying a bunch of these and moving them around as easily as I move these around. These can hold up to 1,700 pounds each individually, and it's been tested for over 11,000 pounds. So I believe this is really good. The only issue is that it's on the higher end. Each of them cost around $12. So like I said, we got close to maybe 100. I'll get the actual number at the end of the video, but close to 100 of these. So, it was a lot, right? But it's plastic, and it's plastic, but it's made of recycled polyfin material. So it's really good, or it should be really good. I hope, at least. So, I really trust it, and I know it's going to hold up for a very long time. My biggest takeaway is that it's really light and easy to move around. Now it's time to build the extended parts of the deck frame. There's going to be some decking over here, so just adding the deck frame. But this area right here is a sensitive spot, right? I almost didn't build anything over on this side of the deck because I was scared. But let me tell you why. While I build this, I'm going to tell you a story. So, while we were building that porch back there, we had to build some post holes, like dig some post holes to put cement down, and then have my post sit in or sit on top or whatnot. So we're digging, and before this entire thing, before we started this deck, we're like, yeah, we should call 811. But I'm like, no need to call 811 because there was already post holes there because he had there was an old deck there before. And if you haven't seen that video, please go check that one out first and then come back to this one. And there was an old deck there before, so I'm like, okay, no need to call 811. We can just dig, right in that hole or right next to it. Big mistake. So we were there digging, and realized that there's a bunch of roots. There's a bunch of roots that's underneath, in the earth and whatnot. So we're digging, and every now and then we'll find a root, and I'll just usually get my sawzall and saw it, and move on with my life. But there is this one post hole, pretty much the last, no, not the last one, the second to last one we're digging. And actually it was Brian, the homeowner, was actually digging this part. He was there, he going to town. He's like, we need to like move this hole or something. And I'm like, no, Brian, I'm not going to give up right now. Let's keep on digging. I'll take over. And I'm there. Brian's standing right next to me, and I'm like going to town with this post hole digger. And boy, when I tell you, I'm tired too, because we've been digging all day, right? So I'm like, boom, boom. When I tell you, my heart dropped and I heard, psh. Oh. What is it? Yes. My heart fell. I thought the whole house was going to explode. I thought it was going to die. That was it. Even the homeowner said, now it's funny. Homeowner said, oh God. Brian said, oh God. I didn't hear it in the moment, but after rewatching the video, I laughed and I almost cried. Here it is. Oh God. Oh God. Yeah, that oh God is someone who is like, oh God, I'm about to die. Oh God, what did I do? Oh God, why did I have a YouTuber build a deck? And I can go on, right? So with quick thinking, we went and turned the tank off, the gas tank off, and nervously walked around and waited and called a bunch of people. And finally, we got someone out to come and take a look at it and fix it. The moral of the story, call 811. Call 811, okay? I've always seen the ad or hear someone tell you, hey, make sure you call 811 before you dig. I'm like, I've learned my lesson. I hope you do too. All right, now let's see where we're at with building this part. So clearly right here, I am tired, but hey, the work must go on. As soon as we got through building this area, we hopped over to the other side and got that part going because the homeowner wanted somewhere to put his grill. So we just built him this extended area, which took us quite some time. It's not as quick as how this video is making it seem.
Maybe in spite of the body stretching out your pinstripes. Got so much to tell you, come on inside. Hey. You was MIA from the invite, tryna give me daps with my hands tied. All I wish for, if you could go my way. Yeah, been had me from the start. You've been on my radar for too long. Want you to stay, babe. You'd never say the word. I could give you the world, girl, won't you? Try me, I bet you gon' like it. Lava, yeah, me, lava, yeah, me, lava, with me, baby. Lava, yeah, me, lava, yeah, me, lava, with me, baby. Ain't no other girl hotter than you, girl, you next up. All we gotta do, we could pick up where we left off. Always wanted you, baby, we can be the best us. Oh yeah, been around the block, but I'm back cause you the best out. Girl, I know you tired cause the world don't got you stressed out. This is our chance, baby, don't you let it pass us. Come over, yeah. Been had me from the start. You've been on my radar for too long. Want you to stay.
Next step in the process is to install blocking. So I have Brian here cutting, and I'll just do the installation.
I bet you gon' like it. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, with me, baby. Yeah. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, yeah, me. Lava, with me, baby. Yeah. I've been waiting for this love, baby. Hey, lava, hey, me.
So I lost footage of me actually putting down the black tape that's sitting on top of the joist. So I'll just have to tell you about it. So basically, we bought some joist tape to put on top of all the joists, because this will prevent or slow down rotting of the boards that we're using, the lumber, even though they are weatherproof. Weather treated, pressure treated. Eventually over time they will rot. So this will basically extend the life of the deck. And we're using composite decking on top, Trex decking. So the joist below will definitely rot before the composite. So I'll definitely highly recommend you guys put joist tape down.